Tomato plants are susceptible to many diseases. To avoid losing your harvest, it's useful to know basic things about the most common disease affecting your plants. In this video, the disease we will review is tomato leaf mold. The information presented is from research I've done online and is by no means expert advice. With that being said, let's get into it. We will answer the following questions. What are the causes of tomato leaf mold? Which part of the plant is affected? What are the symptoms and effects of the disease and how to stop the disease from occurring? Tomato leaf mold is a disease caused by the fungi Passiflora fulva. This fungus lives in the soil and on crop residue that might have spores or have been contaminated. For it to become a problem, it requires conditions with high relative humidity, around 85% and more, and a lack of airflow. The temperature also plays a role, but I wasn't able to find a clear range specific for the disease, so I won't be giving any numbers. It will spread with the rain, wind, and any contaminated tools used in the farm, as well as contaminated seeds. When dealing with disease, it is always useful to look at the foliage, stem, and roots of the plant, because one or more of these three will be the parts affected by the disease. In the case of tomato leaf mold, it affects the foliage of the plant. More specifically, the older leaves at the bottom of the plant where air circulation is low. In rare cases, it will also affect the stem, blossom, and fruits, but the most common part affected is the foliage. If your plant is infected, the symptoms and problems will be gradual. Initially, the leaves will turn pale green and will develop yellow spots on the upper surface. Also, olive green colored mold will start developing on the lower surface. These are the spores of the fungus that is growing. In the more advanced stage, the yellow spots will coalesce, meaning they will come together to form one, and the leaves will wilt and drop. This, at the scale of the plant, means that the foliage will die. Here, you can see a photo of the disease. It will be helpful to go online and look up more pictures to be able to identify it. Now, the best way to avoid this disease is through prevention. There are treatment methods with fungicide and all that, but I'm against chemical treatments, so let's focus instead on how to prevent rather than treat. The first and most effective thing you can do is to increase the air circulation around and in the foliage of your tomato plants. For this, you can increase the spacing between the plants and stake and prune more often and effectively. Other than that, avoid leaving crop residue in your growing area to reduce risks of contamination, and do not wet the tomato leaves when watering. Keeping the leaves dry will reduce the humidity in the foliage of the plants and will make the spread of the fungus less likely. For those who have greenhouses, you can also directly affect the relative humidity and temperature of the grow space. In terms of relative humidity, as we said before, try to keep it lower than 85% and the probability of having the disease will decrease. You can also add fans and other systems to increase the air circulation. So, we have seen what the causes of tomato leaf mold are, which parts of the plant are affected, the effect it causes, and the symptoms to recognize it and how to prevent it. I hope this information will help you in some way and will save some harvests. Take care, grow well, and see you in the next video.